We are still negotiating with airlines, international airlines, to come operate, to start their operations at Kilimanjaro. But the landing fees are quite high. Service parking fees are also very high here as compared to other airports in the region. Land ownership is an issue. It's a burning issue now. And it is not only in Tanzania, but it's actually a cross-cutting issue in Africa. So, of course, the system is quite unclear, or what I can say, it is quite uncertain when it comes to investment here. And in Tanzania, the problem that we are facing is not only about the ownership of land, but it's also about the charges that the government is imposing as land rent. The government has decided to raise or to uplift the land rent in this country, and it becomes impossible for people to acquire big pieces of land, especially for commercial agriculture in Tanzania, because of the high charges. So those are some of the issues that need really to be looked upon or at by the government if we want to transform agriculture. The policies or incentives that have encouraged investment in horticulture in Tanzania includes the tax exemption, which is being offered by Tanzania Investment Center. If you are exempted by TIC, then you can operate here for 5 years without paying tax. That is positive, and it can attract investment. We also have 10 years exemption. It's an incentive offered by Export Processing Zone in Tanzania. So if you are a member, or if you are starting a business in Tanzania registered by EPZ, then you can benefit from that incentive. So that is powerful. But we also have what we call a Public-Private Partnership Act. It's a new policy, and it allows the government, the public sector, and the private sector to work together or invest together. So it's a regulation which is quite good, and we have already started benefiting from it as an organization, TAHA. We have already signed an MOU with the Ministry of Agriculture to get or to acquire a piece of land from government to establish the industry or the private-driven Center of Excellence for Horticulture Training Center. The recommendation that we want to put forward, if the countries, or if Tanzania, for example, want to transform agriculture, is that we need to have a very good enabling environment. We need to have the right mix of policies, incentives, as well as regulations that are stable, very clear, consistent, and also transparent if we want to have agriculture development in our countries. We also need to improve our good governance, as well as reduce corruption. And development in agriculture cannot come from the efforts of one partner. Partners, it has to take a public-private partnership approach. And in the public-private partnership approach, if you want that to work, it has to take, the leadership is key. We must have good leaders who are able to drive, and leaders with the capacity and abilities to drive the positive change. We need to have leaders both from the public and the private sector who are focused, stable, leaders who can come up, who can invent, but at the same time reinvent compelling visions, and also influence others to follow and achieve the right vision in order to transform agriculture in our countries. Another big challenge that faces farmers, especially smallholder farmers in Tanzania, and I hope it is not in Tanzania, but it is also a cross-cutting issue, is access to finance. We do understand that, yes, we have commercial banks, and some of the commercial banks, I can say most of them, are quite reluctant in lending money to agriculture production. They are quite willing to support or lend give loans to agriculture marketing. And when you ask them, they will say that, of course, agriculture production, there's quite a number, high risk in investing in agriculture production. But some of the issues that comes with the loans, and that makes smallholder farmers, I mean, that do not, I mean, kind of deprive farmers from accessing money from banks. One of them is the tenure, short-term loan. Agriculture requires long-term financing, but most of the commercial banks here, they give very short-term loans. Two, there is the issue of the interest rate. Interest rate is quite high, so it's making the loans very expensive, and somehow it's not easy for farmers, especially smallholder farmers, to be able to service that loan. So those are some of the issues. So what needs to be done now to address that issue is that the public and private sector maybe should come up with innovative type of financing that will help farmers access resources in order to produce. We can maybe come up with products like input revolving credit or catalytic funds, you know, financing that farmers we can train farmers, we can build their capacity and let them maybe access them in order to produce in our countries. With the global climate change, we need to come up with the right varieties that will withstand the changing climate. So we need researchers, scientists who can advise farmers on the best varieties to grow. We need also labs which are equipped. And so what I can say is research and development is very important now, especially if we really want to cope with the type of the climate taking place now. So in Tanzania, that is a big challenge. We don't have breeders, for example, who can breed the right varieties. We don't have researchers, and if they are there, they are not facilitated. We don't have the right equipment to enable these researchers do their work properly. And when research are done, you find that there is no kind of connection between what the scientists or researchers are doing and the demand at the farm level. So what needs to be done is really to be able to translate also and simplify, come up with the very simple language which of the research findings that can be very well understood by farmers.